people have supervised us, have mentored us, and men, women have pried open bolted doors and laid a foundation and carpets for me, for us to exist. So I'd like to take this moment as a breath for them and to say thank you, that things, sometimes we find ourselves in spaces and we think we made it, and we say, Mama, I made it. My mama and everybody else who has been, has carried us, because we don't exist alone. The problem with capitalism is that it assumes that we are individuals. It always stares to us that we are very finite, that our lives are short, our lives can only be products, our lives can be bought, our lives can be only individual. But the reality is our lives are complex. Take a moment when you are walking around to look at yourself in the mirror. You don't own that face. It is a face of multitudes. You do not even own your own face. And that's how infinite we are. And during the week when I came to look at the exhibition and some of the works, I started to think about that. This concept that we all are part of a community. We're part of people and a legion of people that we carry with us on our faces, on our bodies, in our memories. And the problem that we've lived our lives to become products is that we also think that we are the only ones who can carry those memories, those lives, those pieces. And what I've experienced with all the work has been how our people come in. You know, Tanisa's got that song, right? And the beauty of this work is that we don't go alone. We do not go alone. And you can see it, you can feel it, even when the students are not here, we know that they are here. We know that they are not alone. They're part of a community, they're part of a creation, they're part of people. So I wanted to also think through, because I'm not a fine artist. I am a fine artist. But I'm not really a fine artist. So and my way of thinking about things and really engaging with the work was through narratives. I started to think about what are the narratives, what are the stories that each piece carries and how they are functioning. So I noticed there's a lot of everyday making, but at the same time there's a lot of reimagining the extraordinary of the everyday. So where we think about Tatendebele's lovely work of rediscovery of the ordinary. And what I experienced this week was really that, was this idea that there must be a rediscovery of our ordinariness, of our everydayness. There must be a brilliance that we have mastered from our own people. And as I experienced all of them, everybody in the place, it's this brilliance. And I start from this narrative, Yaga Besihead. So, you know, we know the South African novelist Besihead. She has a short story collection called The Collector of Treasures. And in the collection, she focuses on the community at large. And during this time, she talks about this in this book. You can just see when you read Besihead's work that it is moments in her life. So something was happening to her. She had just moved to Botswana, and the kind of racism she was experiencing.
Is this author name?
Besihead. So every moment she writes something, it's about her working through the moments in her life. So Collector of Treasures happens at the time when she is moving from her loner life. So she even has a book called A Woman Alone. So she's a self-proclaimed loner, but in the Collector of Treasures, she starts moving to the socially oriented moment in her life. She, in an essence, in Collector of Treasures, she journeys for us. What does it mean to be in community? So the first two things that she does is that she takes the everyday, the routines, the making, the gardening, the pottery, the weddings, the living, the drinking of tea, and she puts it as a leading role in each of the stories. She also then focuses on the village and takes this village, this community, as a microcosm of a larger society. And through it, she then looks at it as a portal of the world. How can we imagine another world? How can we change the world and not accept it as is? So I make mention of this because Besihead consciously takes the side of the person who is the underdog. She consciously takes the side of the silent partner and whose story is not told. Her writing is discernibly political, even though it is everyday, it is quotidian, it is home, it is about gardening, it is about writing letters, it's about growing children and bringing up children. She takes the side and engages in the story of difference and capturing the essence of what it means to belong and what it means to put together. She highlights how, as a refugee, her life was disrupted and how village life can be disrupted, about the potential of us changing the world. So she locates herself in a community. She locates herself and accounts for herself as part of a community of women, of people who are makers, people who are, so she does not emerge. So a lot of times when we go to university and we become artists, I mean, I'm a theatre maker, so I have to work with other people. So even if I want to work by myself, who's going to do my lights? Who's going to design my set, right? But there's something about also, as a writer, I'm also acknowledging that there's something about a writer, and university advocates for this idea that you become a loner. You become an individual, that you made it. That look at you, your star is shining. But it is, well, but the reality is, we are part of a community that as you rise, we have to bring them with you. And part of, yes, so what part of the beauty of the village and what Bessie hates is to frame herself within a community of people. Even as a loner, she frames herself within a community of women, within a community of creators, so that they were the ones who taught her how to garden. That even though now she writes books about gardening, she writes letters about gardening, that she learned it from somebody else. That though we celebrate her in her writings, she's able to acknowledge that she is part of a collective of people. So the question that I asked earlier when we started is that who are you accountable to? Who are you collectively answering back to? And as we rise and we become brilliant and we start charging us 100,000 and as you rise and you become, the world acknowledges you and sees you, and as you rise and your brilliance is mastered and made, how are you going to brilliantly remaster yourself and brilliantly shape and shift yourself in a way that is always accountable to others? I want to close off to say that as a teacher and an educator, I'm really moved by the idea of change. The idea that we can change the world. I am that person, I drank the Kool-Aid, I believe we can change the world. I am nagged by that idea of radicalism. I really believe it. I tell you, I really believe it. Like, I'm not saying it, I'm not lying, I really believe it. But I'm also very much in the practice of believing that, Dion Brand, the poet Dion Brand writes, and she says, changing the world is an emergency for some of us. So for some of us, as we are making and we are creating and we are seeing objects and beauty of colors and the everyday, the utilitarian, and the things that become radical, even though, is it a cup, is it a glass, is it this, is it what, is it really, is it, who is here? As we are all making, I want us to imagine that our making is an imagination of what the world may be, of what the world may be otherwise. We come from a generation and people who did imagine how the world might be otherwise and made it possible. They may not have lived to see that the world is otherwise. There are people, our grandfathers, mothers, who never even imagined that they would be in spaces like this. But they knew and they believed that the world can be otherwise. So I want to encourage us to also believe and think about our making that is beyond just, there is no joy in you rising and being, okay, there is joy, you can, there is joy, there's lots of joy. You can be the first billionaire, you can be the first everything, you can be and all of that. But there is no freedom for the rest of us and the rest of the world when you rise by yourself. There is always freedom, redemption, and power when we all rise, when we all are willing to shift and change the world. The same way we put our hands to the oven. I keep on calling it the oven, and Mary is upset, like it's not an oven.
But you know what? It
is hot. As we all put our hands and our things in there, can we also believe in that oven of life? So, and part of when we're changing the world is the moment, and I want to encourage us, because it is hard to change the world and to believe that the world can change. So every creative, that when we all want to do something, there's always this moment of, I don't know, I don't know. And in that moment of I don't know, you can also think about, when you don't know, it is also an opportunity for you to put yourself yourself into action, to put yourself into something and move towards it. Every creative act involves a leap into the void. The leap has to occur at the right moment, and yet the time for that leap is never prescribed. And in the midst of the leap, there are no guarantees. So leaping can often cause acute embarrassment, but embarrassment is a partner in the creative act, a key collaborator. So the willingness also to be embarrassed, to share, to be and do. I hope you all, and we all can go back to our own accountability partners, find an accountability partner, and create and make and thrive. And thank you so much for letting me speak and hold on to my little thoughts. But I really appreciate you all, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Refiloe. It's just such a pity there's a lot of hard-working students are here. But I would think it's a good idea if we can post it on our blog.
Okay, I'll do that.
Is that possible?
Yes, I will send it
Because
to you.
I think she's giving us a lot of advice and a lot of insight into what they say, a village grows a child. You know, it takes a village to grow a child, which is so interesting the way you put everything together. And I'm just thankful that you have. But we do need it to get it onto
I
our
will send it to you.
and then the students can read it at their own time. We also got some videos. I want to thank at the same time Melanie and Viola from TPT, the curators. I want to thank Sammy, Cassandra, Naomi, and Edmund, the team from the Viewing Room and Sensorium for putting up this exhibition. And of course, I want to thank you everybody that's come here today. And thank you so much. We feel that we gave us a lot to chew on, and thank you very much.